Won't you be hungry? I've read this so many times that my throat hurts like I'm dying. When I read through the people doing the 3 disaster release like this, I see there are quite a lot of people among them who are somewhat bad and nasty. It's pretty hard because I'm trying to pick that out and demolish it by voicing it out loud. But when I look, there are quite a few people in there who are extremely nasty and not good. So I pushed myself and did it, because if I demolish it the same way, then good things should happen the same way too. The 3 disasters are handled with Buddha's enlightened light, not with anything else. You bring about extinction with Buddha's enlightened light, because next year, the whole year should have only good things, and you should be healthy. Today, this sermon is on the winter solstice day, and it's the winter solstice eve. Anyway, isn't tomorrow and today basically the same? In this sermon, when the Yonghwa Maitreya Buddha came to the Sabha world, what did he bring? He brought Gong Thought. It's only because it's now that it's like this, but as more time passes, people all over the world will believe in nothing but this Gong Thought. Do you understand? Because why? All religions are the principle of impermanence, so their lifespan ends as living beings. Look at the Unification Church. It started in Korea, went to Japan, then to the US, and now it has come back over to Korea too, building those pale-looking things on some mountain like that, but its lifespan has run out. So if you spread Buddhism with the principle of impermanence rather than Gong Thought, then it has a lifespan. That's what I'm saying. What does lifespan mean? A lifespan is transience. Why is it transient? Because it's the principle of impermanence. It can't last long. As time passes, it naturally disappears. Why is that? With the principle of impermanence, humans add things onto it. Adding greed because they have the mind of a bad living being. It can't last long. But Gong Thought has no greed in it, right? If greed is inside Gong Thought, then it isn't Gong Thought. No greed, not hating others, not envying others. Because it will never disappear and will remain forever until the earth ends. It doesn't vanish and come into being like that. Got it? So all religions in the world are destined to disappear. Just watch, this isn't a lie. Now we are the first generation. You are the first generation when the Maitreya Buddha came to the Sabha world and spread Buddhism. You are spreading Buddhism together like this, right? This is the first generation now. In other words, you're founders. Founders, precious people. Do you know? Because you are precious, you must listen well to what I say and bring forth a great mind. Understood? You can't not do that. The Yonghwa Maitreya Buddha coming to the Sabha world and spreading Buddhism is not something he did so that only you go to the Yonghwa world, do well, and have good things for generations. All humans on the whole earth must have good things, and good things for generations. Doesn't it have to be that way? For that purpose, you and I are paving the road together, and that is why it is spreading across the whole world like this now. Understood? So Shakyamuni Buddha is also excellent, but the starting point of the Dharma is the principle of impermanence. Because the start is the principle of impermanence, it cannot last forever. So it's only up to here now. Got it? Shakyamuni Buddhism lasts only until the day the Maitreya Buddha comes to the Sabha world. Why is that? Not because it's bad, but because it is the principle of impermanence, so it's exactly up to there. So if you believe the principle of impermanence, then death is only up to there as well. Death too. What is death? The day you die is the day your life ends. Understood? So monks often say things like, in Shakyamuni Buddhism the soul does not break. So they say things like the Diamond Sutra, the Heart Sutra. But the title Diamond Sutra was made with the meaning that it is hard like a diamond and does not break. That's what it is. But listen carefully. What is the Diamond Sutra? Monks must learn too, by listening to what I say. A diamond is what diamond refers to. A diamond. Got it? They call it a diamond because it's hard, doesn't change, and doesn't break. That's how they made the title of the Diamond Sutra. Got it? Anyway, listen carefully. All things are living beings. What is not a living being? The sun's Buddha's enlightened light is not a living being. Except for the sun's light, everything in the world is a living being. Do you understand? Then what is diamond? A diamond? It's something you dig out of the ground as a diamond. As for diamonds, if I originally majored in metal, I'm a doctor of metal. You don't know well, but I'm someone who majored in metal. I'm telling you, I majored in metal when I was in school. So diamonds are dug out from where they are buried underground, just like ordinary metal. Look closely when you mine gold in a mine, that iron ore comes out. They call that gamzok. They call it gamzok, and inside that gamzok, gold originally, diamonds don't go into good products. The most precious things in the world are gold, silver, copper, aluminum. Those come out like that. Got it? Do you understand? Here, what is called a diamond is something that makes hard metal inside it. When you make it, a diamond is originally in powder form. I'm saying it's powder like flour. They set that powder into rings, to set a diamond. Then they use borax for that powder. You know borax, right? Borax is powder too. They coat it with diamond powder on borax and heat it like this with an oxygen torch. If you heat it hot, when you heat the diamond powder coated with borax, an object forms. A round object forms like this. That object is what they make and use as a diamond. Do you understand? If you go and listen to other people talking, did you understand what they were saying? You can't understand a single thing. So if you learn just this one thing clearly and perfectly, then you are spending the winter solstice very well today. Got it? And a person must use their mind well. If the mind is bad and crooked, that won't do. Just because you took the commandments of Buddhism doesn't mean you go to a good place or anything like that. If your mind is crooked, think about it. Your mind must be honest and kind. You must always have a mind that bows to others. Someone who only carries a crooked mind is not good. So even if you came to why, you should become the Buddha's disciple and believe like a rock. Some people come saying they will spread Buddhism well from now on and save many living beings, but then they quietly slip away without a word. Then is only what you see in front of your eyes precious? Isn't that right? If only what you see in front of you is precious, what do you call that? That's why I said it. I gave this sermon the other day too. Hundreds of pigeons are down on the ground pecking up feed, and one flew up into the sky. So you'd say, that one's lost its mind. Why fly up into the sky leaving something this tasty? It should eat its fill and then go. But the pigeon that flew away doesn't have that kind of mind. Then the pigeon pecking on the ground and the pigeon that flew into the sky think in a completely different way. What do you call the pigeon pecking on the ground? Why is it a living being? Eating is a living being eating. A bird is a pigeon when it flies. If a pigeon walks around on the ground, what do you call it? You see it as some pig, wild boar, or wolf. Isn't that right? So when they are pecking feet on the ground and one bird flies up into the sky, that bird has attained Buddhahood. You must know that. So even though Korea has so many people, the rich are separate. The rich think differently. Why is that? They also have a lot of greed. And to become rich you have to have a lot of greed. They're extremely stingy about giving to others. So I said it last time too. When people who run small or mid-sized companies or businesses hire employees, if it's 1 year, they contract for exactly 1 full year, 12 months. How can they do it as 11 months and 15 days, and let the person go without completing the full year? Why do they do that? It's because they don't want to pay severance pay. That's how humans are. Do you know? Where would people who make money like that go after they die? There's only one place to go. Hell? They disappear, after being a spirit. If you don't plant beans, they disappear. Do they keep existing as beans? They disappear. It's the same. So fighting over are you better? Am I better? Is all something living beings do. A truly smart and capable person doesn't do that kind of thing. Somehow, even your faces are all different and colorful. There isn't a single identical person. All different, yet you came to why and learned awakening. That's what I'm saying. Isn't it amazing? I'm not saying this just because today is the winter solstice. You will reincarnate when you die. You have to reincarnate anyway when you get old. Even a machine wears out, and when a machine gets too worn to use, it needs repairs. But where can you go to repair it? A car at least has a repair shop. But when a person breaks down, there isn't even a repair shop. If it's completely broken, what do? You'd have to replace parts, but there's nowhere to replace them. So it's not a small problem. Even as you live your life, you gain strength. When I die, I will reincarnate and come back again. If you are going to come back, you must use your mind well. Only if you have a good mind that is generous, compassionate, and serving can you go to a good place and reincarnate. A person with a crooked disposition goes to a poor household again. They go to a poor household, suffer to death, and then have to go again. But even when that soul reincarnates and comes back, it does not disappear. Why? Because it is Gong Thought. The soul you have now does not disappear. Do you understand? If it disappeared, it would vanish as a living being. If you came once, died, came once, died, and if you can't do it, wouldn't you disappear? But you die, reincarnate again, come back, and live again. When you get old, you die and go again, then reincarnate again. It's unbelievable. Even after being given something this good, if your mind is somewhere else, then you can't be like that kind of person. Don't you understand? If you came but can't come again, then it doesn't become Gong Thought. Go and come back again, continuously until the earth ends, always going and coming. What do you call that? That is called the law of interdependent arising. In Gong Thought, the soul is Gong Thought, and the going back and forth is living beings going back and forth. So it's the law of interdependent arising. What else would it be? It's already exposed right away. So you should keep coming to why and listen to the sermon, right? Why is it not Gong Thought, and instead the law of interdependent arising? Because you come with flesh and bones, die, and come back again, so it's the law of interdependent arising. Isn't that right? But what if you only stay as a ghost? There's no great meaning. Also, in the Yonghwa world, being there not as flesh and bones but as a spirit can only be a ghost, because there is no flesh and bones. Then what if you stay as a ghost for a long time? You can't eat, you can't drive. You should go eat tasty things and meet friends. But without flesh and bones, what can you do? So you must come through reincarnation for you to attain Buddhahood. Going after dying is not attaining Buddhahood. Coming back after dying, coming by reincarnation, that is what we call attaining Buddhahood. How is it attaining Buddhahood to be a ghost after dying, when you can't even be seen? Living people can't see ghosts. There is no one who has seen them. People who say they saw a ghost saw an illusion. Do you see a ghost with your eyes? You don't see it. So saying you saw a ghost means you saw an illusory form. When a person is standing, you saw that shape like a shadow. So today is the winter solstice, and you also came from far away. And today there were many people with the 3 disasters, more than 60 today. My throat hurts like I'm dying from stripping all that off. Where is it? That has to be done too. You have to do it steadily. But where did I miss something earlier? Can't we do it a little later? We're in the middle of the sermon now, so leave it for now. So since today is the winter solstice, how exactly did the Maitreya Buddha of the Sabha world come? You must know how the Maitreya Buddha comes and what he does with living beings before he goes. That is what I am making clear. So all religions in the world must disappear. Why? Because living beings made them. They must disappear. All religions are living beings. And if religion guided humans well, that would be fine. But they all use religion to intervene in profit-making interests. Profit-making interests, they do it to earn money. Do you understand? Money. If you watch broadcasts even these days, it's noisy, right? Why is that? If you believe in religion, when someone is in difficulty you should pray for them to do well and do good things like that. But they collect money, bribe politicians, and keep throwing money around. Like this. When you go to a gambling house, do you go to the gambling table to give money to others? Why do you go? You go to win, waving money like this. What do you call that? Waving. You don't know? Why don't you know that? Look, waving in and out of a hole. What do you call that? What do you call this? A snake head. Look, everyone. You know fish like crucian carp and carp, right? Look carefully. If you look, the head and mouth area all resemble a snake. Do you know? Does it sound like a lie? It's certain. So why does it go in and out of a hole like that? This is plotting. The snake is plotting. Got it? A snake is a fraud, a plotter. Religion should do good for many living beings. If someone is sick, comfort the sick part. If someone is struggling, embrace the struggling person. But it's not earning money by working, they exploit it. They should earn money only by doing work. But without working they just exploit money. By lying. Then they gather money and go fawning over politicians. So they are plotting. Got it? That's why the whole country is noisy and like that. The one who took it and the one who gave it are the same kind of plotter. So those plotters are very frightening, bad seeds to humans in this world. So why do people with religion keep coveting politics? Because I read so much. My throat hurts. My throat hurts. My throat hurts. Because I read so much. Is there anyone here who didn't take the commandments of Buddhism? Did everyone take them? Did everyone take them? If anyone hasn't taken them, you must take them. Only then are the winter solstice and taking the commandments of Buddhism the same. Do you know what the winter solstice is? The winter solstice is also Gong Thought. As long as humans live in the Sabha world, the winter solstice does not disappear. It does not disappear. So the winter solstice is also Gong Thought. Then you too must greet the winter solstice from the place of Gong Thought for living beings. Even if they spend the winter solstice, it's nothing special. Isn't that right? They just taste red bean porridge and then when they die it ends. Why are you laughing? Isn't that true? When you reincarnate and come again next time, you will eat winter solstice red bean porridge again. But living beings eat like that, and when they die it ends. They can never eat winter solstice red bean porridge again. So it's very precious. You are people with truly good fortune. I mean it. Go home quietly and think about what I'm saying. Is it right or wrong? There's no doubt. Even once, you must go to why more and listen to the sermon more closely, very closely. If you listen and then leave, the day you listen here is your last day. Isn't that right? After you die, it's hard to come here and listen. Am I going to live for hundreds of years? Then who will you listen to? Listening here is the last time. You must fulfill all Gong Thought here and then leave. Do you know? Only then do you become fully Gong Thought. If you go half-baked without truly knowing and only take the commandments of Buddhism, then go to the Yonghwa world and sit there cluelessly, it takes a long time to come back. Because you have to gain awakening there, it takes a long time. If you come back after 100 or 200 years, that's unfathomably far. Other people, after a little while. If you guys, I'm going. You all stay here a long time. I'm on my way now to B's house in the U.S. What would you do then? Hey, to a house that rich. Right. If I can't go to a rich house, I won't go. I suffered so much in my past life that if it's poverty, I'm sick of it. Now I won't suffer. Isn't that right? So if 1 month is big, another month is small. And that's how it goes. People say, don't look down on a person's fate, without even knowing what it means, but what I'm saying is exactly that. Don't look down on a person's fate. It's only because it's now that it's like this. Do you think you'll live 1,000 or 10,000 years? I'm here like this now, but if I go and come back again, you will all become my servants, you punks. Just watch. Am I wrong? You must treat your wife well. If you do wrong to your wife, you can come back next time as your wife's servant. If you come back as a servant, what will you do then? Right? So you must listen well to what I say. So you must fully know that Gong Thought is firmly established in your mind. You don't need to know a lot, it's simple. Gong Thought is not Gong Thought if it's only something you can't see with your eyes, can't verify, and is only said in words. You say Buddha's enlightened light, but you have seen light with your eyes and gained awakening, haven't you? Look, only a living person or a living object can recognize and know that it received the sun's Buddha's enlightened light. A non-living object cannot recognize or awaken to the sun's Buddha's enlightened light by itself. But this Buddha's statue here personally received the sun's light, the same Buddha's enlightened light, and awakened to it. That's what I'm saying. That's why you saw it speak and blink its eyes. So even if the Maitreya Buddha is not in the Sabha world and has left from this Buddha statue, you can still, as much as you want, make Gong Thought with Buddha's enlightened light. Do you know? And one more thing, I didn't originally intend to run a temple. Why? Korean religion, I was born in a temple. But what is religion in this world? So I even went to a church, they said they believe in God and Jesus. So I asked, what thought you actually have? And I stayed there for 3 years. I lived there as an underservant at the church. When I went and saw, there was nothing. Jesus died and disappeared. And they say God exists even though he doesn't. And they say useless things about it. They say Jesus came out of a side. Why would he come out of a side? And they also say Shakyamuni Buddha came out of a side. Then what? Is something attached to the side? Do bodhisattvas have a hole pierced in their side? How do you come out through the side? Did they cut open the side like this with a knife? So they say strange things, cleverly say strange things like this to people, and confuse people's minds. So when you look, this Christianity has nothing. Then look at Christianity, didn't you see last time? They shout and yell. Why does a religion go around like that? That isn't even religion, they're pure thugs. With that, what development would the world have going forward? If we want the world to be clear, clean, and develop, religions like that must all disappear from this land. I mean, religions should be just 1 or 2 in the world, but you can't even count them. There's also a crazy man who calls women in, makes them sit down, and gropes and rubs everywhere, chest, lower abdomen, saying it cures illness, and sucks money out of them. That's a crazy man. Why grope someone else's woman? Truly out of his mind, and he looks like that too. Strangely, he looks like some kind of low bastard. Strangely. Isn't that right? Am I wrong? He looks like a skate fish, he's not a normal person. So they talk about some strange heaven palace or ceiling palace, and so on. You don't know well, but I know thoroughly, I know their doctrines well. So it's not just 1 or 2 things. Things like Desun, those are all swindlers. Those kinds. They say, it's coming soon. Something is coming, go and see whether it's a lie. Even temples are strange. Like this, like this, like this, do it like this and do bows. They tell you to jab around like this, that's crazy people. So they made all of that themselves. A human being is so precious to be born, more precious than treasure falling from the sky. So why do humans go to places like that and waste pointless time? And why are they there doing that? You should do good for others, or earn money, and, for poor people, at least buy them a mall of rice or something. You should live doing good deeds. What kind of behavior is this? They spend their good youth going to places like that, and it rots away. I don't live like that. If a person earns money, they should use money together like this, and at the very least buy a bowl of food for a poor person, and live with that kind of mind. What are you doing? Sitting there spending time like that. So if you graduate from a theological university and go to rural areas, in any village that's even somewhat big, there's a church everywhere. Why do people live in the world like that? As for a human life, you don't know. That's why, on earth, even if you gave the whole world, you still couldn't trade it for 1 human life. Humans are that precious. But if a human spends time in that way, then when they die, everything disappears. Have you seen anyone come back after dying? Not a single person. And why do humans have so much greed? If you take away greed, there's nothing left of humans. Look through all our past presidents, was there even one who did things properly? Did they do even about 10%? There isn't even one who did it properly. Who is there that did it properly? When a person rises to success and puts on an official hat, they can't see anything. They behave like that because they view people like dogs and pigs, like animals. If they valued people as precious, would they behave like that? Why did the Yi Joseon dynasty fall? Because they behaved in such rotten ways, and as kings, they acted as if they were the only ones in the world, so the Yi Joseon dynasty collapsed and the country was taken by the Japanese. Do you know? Why do humans live like that? You don't live alone on this precious Korean land where countless people live. Why do you live your life like that? Honestly, politicians, you know, members of the National Assembly, I don't see them as people, honestly. Why? I have no stake with them. But when I see how they do politics and how they behave, I don't see them as people. I treat them as the lowest of the low. Do you know who the most admirable people among humans are? Admirable people are those who run businesses. Business owners are the most admirable and the coolest people. Why? They bring in people who have nothing. Give them work, pay them wages, feed them, keep them alive, and give them money. Those are admirable people, business owners. Do politicians run businesses or what? Next time there's a National Assembly election, you must not vote for a single one of the people who are there now. They should all be replaced with new ones, completely. They're no good. There's an old saying, if you become a National Assembly member, can you go to the assembly and say even one word and come back? You'll obviously be a lighter National Assembly member, a lighter National Assembly member. Do you know what a lighter National Assembly member is? These people, what is a lighter? A lighter that makes fire, a lighter National Assembly member. Why is that? They can't say a single word, but if the person next to them takes out a cigarette to smoke, they pull out a lighter from their pocket and light it, because they think they're colleagues, as if. That's what you call a lighter National Assembly member. If you vote for National Assembly members and send them to the assembly to do politics well, more than 80% come back after their term ends without being able to say even one word. Do you know? Why vote for that many, that number? What's the use of having a big number when there are only a few who matter? From what I've seen so far, President L did politics the best. Why? I mean, look at Korea. We have so many institutions now. With all those institutions taking government money, the president has to know whether they're using it properly or wasting it, right? He called them all in, sat them down, and had them speak, and when I listened, it was complete nonsense. If you score them, they're all under 30 points, under 30. And with that, what do you mean you're governing the country excellently? If you don't know, then quit and leave. Why come here to collect a salary and eat and live, and take money? From what I saw, it was pure nonsense. Even when the president points it out, they should say, from now on we will investigate everything thoroughly and report back. But there weren't many people saying that. They muddle through, gloss over it, and talk like they know. Why pay those people a salary, right? They all need to be replaced. The people earn money to the point of breaking their backs and pay taxes, and those people live off salaries from it. Then you put them there to do the work. Well, what do you do if they don't work and only take the salary? They might feel hurt when I say this, but when the president sat them down and had them talk, it was complete nonsense when I looked. Because I ran a business, I know the moment I hear it. So even if people talk about ministers or heads of agencies in the government and so on, business owners who run companies are all like doctors compared to those people. Do you know? In Korea, the owners who run big companies, and those who run small and mid-sized companies or small businesses, those are the people with good brains and outstanding ability. Are National Assembly members outstanding people? So the country must do well so other countries don't look down on us, right? Even if we live and die, we have children and grandchildren, and a whole line of life ahead waiting. Can the country be in that state? And what else do I have to point out? There's the ruling party and the opposition, right? Then is everything the ruling party does always only wrong? There are many things they did well, but there isn't a single person in the opposition who praised them. They pick only the bad things and tear them down. When I look at people like that, I wonder if they're even people who eat and live. It's disgusting to look at. If you look at their head, their brain is filled only with filth. So what would they know? Even when someone does good, they tear it down, and even when something is right, they don't praise it. Praise is precious for a person. Do you know? So I have one request for P. Your mind has to change. Only then does the country do well and national power become strong. They must never shout and screech like that. Those people who muddy the water, if even one rotten potato goes into a sack of potatoes, the whole sack rots. It rots 100%. Those who muddy the water are about 60% or 70%, and they must all be replaced. And there are also good people who do clean politics. If they step forward and do it, they are also all citizens of our country and people of our country. Are they North Korean people or what? Then the country does better. And later, a president can come out from that party again. Do you know? Why is just one person if he's gone? That's it. It's not like he came out to keep benefiting for generations. So another president can come out again, right? It's not that the party disappears forever, because there are good people. So if you do that, Korea will do well going forward. And when you go abroad, people should say, hey, Korea is truly an amazing country, right? Because you all have children and grandchildren coming in a line ahead. Your heart won't feel good about your children living in such a chaotic country, right? Isn't that so? There's a limit to only bragging about Buddhism and saying do this and believe. We have to talk about the problems we face living our lives. Isn't that right? Only then does the country stand properly and become a clean country. That's what I'm saying. Go to a church, they only look for God. They pile up God. If you go to a temple, they pile up Shakyamuni. What's the use of calling them their dead people? What will you do by calling dead people? You're calling ghosts. Why call ghosts? Because it was so much like that. I hated hearing it and seeing it, so I did Chindo ceremony for all of them. That too because the Maitreya Buddha came to the Sabha world. It's possible to do Chindo ceremony for Shakyamuni, Jesus, and Confucius too. Who else would do it? Think about it. Who would do it? Who is there who can do that? We are a religious president. Who would do it? Religion is over now. Watch. Everyone, religion is finished. People won't go. Without needing to talk about Shakyamuni or Jesus or whatever, people won't go in the future. Why won't they go? Because people's minds awakened, and when they looked, it was all futile. Even if you go, it's like that, so there's no need to say close church doors or close temple doors. If people don't go, it ends, doesn't it? Why go there and sit, piling up prayers to dead people, right? Now it's AI and whatnot. Really. Everyone, this isn't something to take as punishment. One AI does the work of 10 people, 100 people. People aren't needed. I've been saying that for a long time. I told you from 10 years ago that as the world develops, living will become harder going forward. From now on, living won't be a normal problem. Why? Because there's no need for people. You have to wake up. And rural people shouldn't be coming up to Seoul. You don't know well, but you must start work in the countryside. In the countryside you can earn plenty of money, so why must you only come up to Seoul? Why come up to Seoul? I said it the other day. Seoul is a place where people shouldn't come. It's saturated. There's nowhere to attach yourself and beg for food. These days, if you go out, lots of young bachelors ride motorcycles around wearing helmets on their heads. What are they doing? This isn't a small problem. If the country is to do well and become an advanced nation, motorcycles must be eliminated first. Motorcycles, what do you call that? Something like B? The president should get rid of that first. Why? If you go to the countryside now, I go often, and last time in autumn when I went, after pulling onions, they plant onions again in the autumn. Foreign women, exhausted, came and were planting with the men. There were no Koreans doing it. What is that? Even if our country earns money, it's doing something that leaves things in front and ruins things behind. All the money leaks out. Korea's money right now. Go straight from the Anyang entrance to Shosudong and look, there isn't a single restaurant. They all disappeared. And what is there? Tea shops, bakeries. Why are there so many tea shops again? You don't even go inside to drink tea, like opening a jail holding cell. You stay inside a hole like this, and then what? Coffee? Then they make it and hand it out through a hole. What country does that? Going forward, this is a big problem. Politicians don't think about things like that, and they fight every day only over their own rice bowls, so they're people I can't even stand to look at. How we will live in the future. An opposition party must be smart. If they're smart and explode good ideas out into the world, the ruling party can't exert power. But they don't know how to use their brain like that, and they just act stubborn like this for nothing. So politicians are people stupid like pigs. If you're capable, it ends when you show it through action. Do you understand? But when you take those damn motorcycles to an apartment entrance, it's scary when you go at night. In the dark, at night, when you see those people saying they deliver what you ordered, there isn't a single person in the world wearing white clothes. All of them wear pitch black clothes like some people's army, wear black hats, and don't even show their faces. They wrap everything up and walk around like that. This is a sign the country is going wrong. All those people must be sent out to factories. But those delivery people are not people who couldn't study and only finished elementary school. They say many are college graduates too, because there's nowhere to earn money. If the government doesn't take hold of that, then Korea will look good only on the surface. But inside it will be diseased, ruined behind while seeming fine in front. Money comes in and then all leaks out. Graduating from good universities but having nowhere to earn money and nowhere to get a job. They go abroad and end up doing voice fishing for nothing. Getting dragged in by scammers and going there to do that kind of thing. That's what's happening, isn't it? If those people were placed into good jobs, would they do that? They wouldn't. So this is not something individuals can do. The government must actively step in and do it for the country to become stable going forward, right? Would you feel good if your children went somewhere and did that kind of thing? Think about it. They said there is no high or low in jobs. What if you work at a factory? And what if you work at a restaurant? It doesn't matter, you look like an even better person. When you see someone working in work clothes, they look even better. But Korean factories keep going abroad. Korean factories keep going abroad. I heard that even Hyundai Motor is going abroad. If they go abroad, what happens to the people who used to work at the factory? In Korea, there is exactly one deep-rooted illness, one sick thing. There is something sick, something diseased. What is it? It's unions. Unions make Korea sick. People in unions may feel hurt hearing my words, but the owner has to earn money to pay labor costs and wages. If the owner can't earn money, who gives the money? I've run companies on a big scale too. Even large corporations, there's nothing I haven't tried. I'm someone who has done business for over 40 years. Back in the day, Mr. Chung Ju-young and I were all close acquaintances. But what's the reason factories leave for overseas? Wages are expensive, so the numbers don't work. Given Korea's reality and Korea's level, wages are too high. A person's greed is supposed to end at the neck, but greed went past the neck, popped out through the mouth, and even burst through the ceiling. So this will be a big problem going forward. Korea is sick. Where is it sick? It's sick in the unions. And if you hand out labor management distribution, nobody can stop it. If they sprawl out and sit there without working, what are you going to do about that? So if companies like car manufacturers go overseas, where will the people who work there make a living? That's where Korea's deep-rooted problem lies. And the president cracks down. If you crack down, then when election season comes, these guys form gangs and it turns into chaos again when elections come. So everything is tangled up in all directions. So going forward, Korea has truly good companies that earn a lot of money, but it also has many companies that are sick like that. Sick companies. If the government tries to stop them, they shut the doors, all come out, shout and protest, and it becomes unmanageable. So if the factory goes overseas, they can't say a word. At that point, they can't even go anywhere to complain. Look, one robot can build a car, and human hands aren't really needed, the robot does it all. Then if you don't use robots and do it with human hands, you need manpower. So the unions won't allow this robots. They make it so lots of people work under the union and take money wages. If machines come in, jobs get cut off. People's thinking is that simple. That's what I'm saying. Even when making a living, what will happen to us in the future? If we build cars, what will the future be like? You have to think about things like this. Does an owner run a business just to pay wages and tell people to work? They must earn money and also elevate the nation's prestige. Does an owner run a business only to pay workers wages? That's not being in one's right mind. I said this before too when we were decorating Yonghwa and brought in carpenters to work. The carpenters didn't work. They show up around 9, work about 3-4 hours, and before it's even noon they say they're going to eat and leave. They go eat, and I don't know what they do or where they go, but they only come back around 1. They come back, dawdle around, smoke, and then around 1 they finally put on their work clothes. So they start working, but then at 2 o'clock they smoke again. So when it became 2:30, they changed clothes to leave. Hey, where are you going? We have to go now. What time is it? Why are you leaving already? Oh, I can't now, we'll do it tomorrow. Let's rest today. Honestly, I want to spit on a club and slap them with it. How can you go home when it's not even 2 o'clock yet? And you have to pay at least 300,000 won, or if not that then 350,000 or 400,000. Can a country function like that? That's Korea's situation. This is what I'm saying so National Assembly members and the President will hear it. They should use their heads on things like that and research how the country can be stabilized. But National Assembly members don't do that kind of research. So they just stuff their faces. They're people who only shovel food down. They don't even know where Korea is sick or where we're struggling. When laying tile, there were 2.5 tiles left, and they left 2.5 pieces this size. Hey, you have to put those on before you go. What if you just leave without doing it? I can't, we'll do it tomorrow. Time's up. They put on those 2.5 tiles and take 450,000 won again. The next day they come, and with nothing to do they just rub the floor like this with their palm, grinning. Hey, why are you rubbing that? They chuckle and grin. That's the kind of country Korea has become. And if you look now, there are many accidents. Last time there was a big accident and a few people died. Where is the cause of accidents? It's with the business owner. Because the owner is sloppy, they cause working people to get into accidents like that. When I ran businesses, I never saw accidents. There are hundreds, thousands of dangerous machines. Do you know how dangerous that is? Even with those machines, there were no accidents. Why? Because every day we train them on how to work. If you teach the work method clearly, and they do exactly that, there is absolutely no chance of an accident. I heard something like a Gwangju library collapsed because the compaction density dropped. Doing work like that itself takes human lives. Then those people should be eliminated so they can never run a business on this land again. People die, workers die, and they think it ends if they pay compensation a few times. It's like paying the price of a dog. Think about it. You should catch them and lock them up. Then how on earth does a country develop? If the president doesn't do it, nobody else will. If the president were to die in an accident while working on site, that construction company should be shut down and never allowed again. But they don't do that, so people die in groups of several. And how much compensation do they give those dead people? They sacrifice their youth. But you can't bring a person back to life with money they're dead. Then how much should that compensation be? Even at minimum, they should pay 5 billion won per person. Only then can the family live. Isn't that right? If they give a few pennies and wipe their mouth clean, how are those families supposed to live? The law has to be changed. If someone dies, at minimum 5 billion won, the business owner should be made unable to do business ever again. Look, Korea's housing prices jumped, and rental deposit scammers popped up everywhere, and people suffered after being scammed. It's all something the construction guys do by colluding. When there's a pre-sale, scammers latch on first. Pre-sale means scammers. The very fact that we're living in a society like that is really wrong, isn't it? So if you only think of it as good, people take it lightly as if it's nothing. When the president cracks down, he should clamp down so hard they can't even breathe. The other day I saw the president trying to give a speech at the National Assembly, and a lawmaker was telling him to get lost. Get lost, get out of here, and then he walked out. A National Assembly member is like the country's king and sovereign. If a subject tells the sovereign to get lost, does that make sense? He should offer his neck, his head. If I were president, I'd cut off his head. Why say that to the sovereign? He's the nation's sovereign. Whether it's 5 years, 3 years, or 1 year, if you belittle the nation's sovereign like that, you're not a subject, right or not? The president should choke out all those kinds of people, so the country stands upright. Up to now the country has been in turmoil, so people have had a hard time living, but from now on shouldn't we live comfortably in a country that lives well? so that descendants can live well in a comfortable country too. There isn't just one or two things that are sick. First, motorcycles. Why, when Korea has plenty of workers, would we need to bring in people from abroad to use? Isn't that right? If you don't have money, you work. People with money can pay and hire others. But I don't know why they live like that. How well do you earn? How much money do you have that you order food every day? Can't you go and eat? Even I go out and eat sometimes, so why do you order at home like that? It just keeps pushing food prices up. Everyone, look at what you order. When you look, there's nothing much to eat, nothing. And restaurants too. When you go around Korea, they supported that president too. And you know highway rest stops, right? If you go, they need a massive cleaning. It's not even food prisoners eat, and even prisoners aren't fed like that. Pickles, inedible pickles, I don't know how many years they kept them before taking them out. Looks like they stored them 20 or 30 years and took them out. They're swollen and smelly, and even if you slice a few, they're too salty to eat. Things like garlic scapes, like that. This is not ordinary bad, it's seriously bad. You should take a knife and cut all their throats, those bastards. But if you go to a hospital and eat at the hospital cafeteria, even hospital cafeterias changed like that. When I eat at Seoul National University Hospital's cafeteria, they used to give side dishes well, but now the portions are smaller. The rice is flimsy and the side dishes are inedible, I'm telling you. Even prisoners aren't fed like that. That's how they stuck money out. Then imagine foreigners coming to Korea and being served that. They'd say, Korea must be really poor. They'd think, are they crazy about money? How can they charge money and sell food like this? We're going to have to suffer a lot more going forward. You say your restaurant isn't doing well, or it didn't do well because COVID came, right? Try making and serving good side dishes, why wouldn't it work? Korea has many sick parts. First, where is it sick? The sickness in restaurants is the non-gyap. Non-gyap was made for farmers. But if you go shopping at Hanaro Mart and places like that, it's more expensive than regular marts. It's full of nothing but rotten people. The president should raid Hanaro Mart completely. In the countryside there's Hanaro Mart, right? If you go, it's more expensive than regular marts. Why is that? What did I say? The onions produced here, farmers grow them here, bring them here, and sell them. Why are they more expensive than in Seoul? They say it's not expensive. Hey, you thieves. So when I shouted once, an employee came down from the office. Aren't you pure thieves? Non-gyap exists for farmers. Did you set it up to eat theft? That's what I said. After that, whenever I go to that mart, those women look at me like this. Those damn women, their eye sockets. Seriously. Every time I go, they look at me like that. If I do it again, I'm going to run a sweep operation. I'm telling you, if non-gyap is made for farmers, then it's non-gyap. But they sell it more expensively and totally suck the blood, these bastards. Those elderly people, when I go to the countryside, there are grandmothers and grandfathers, but no young people. Then they come trembling, just barely, to buy something. They're items the elderly farmed and brought to sell. Now how can old people farm? What can they do? But when I see them coming to buy, they clutch cash tightly in their hands. Those elders don't even know how to use cards. Seeing them hold cash in their hands and pay, it really breaks my heart. It's very expensive. Even apples, 3 small ones like this, cost 10,000 won. They're only this big, palm-sized. Extremely expensive. A watermelon here costs 16,000 or 17,000 won, and it's this big. But in the countryside, even though it's picked there and sold there, they ask 20,000 to 22,000 won for one this size. If that's not pure thievery, what is it? Then people say the country is struggling, so life is hard. Prices are high. Prices are high because middlemen steal everything in the middle. And that's why it becomes like this. Apples, you know. Apples, pears, fruit like that. If you go to the produce market, the wholesale market, the guys with money first sweep up all the goods and then hold auctions there. Do you know? So they scoop up the goods, they collect everything and place it all in the auction house. And then they run the auction. When there's an auction, all the merchants go. Before the merchants arrive, The moneyed guys set it all up and run a rent-seeking business there. I know it all even without seeing it. Then an apple that cost a few thousand won in the countryside becomes 6,000 or 7,000 won once it goes to the auction market. So the apple price doubles. Once it rises, the auction people have to sell it, right? When they sell, they add their margin too. Then these merchants go and buy. When they buy and bring it, they add margin again. One apple is usually 8,000 or 9,000 won, and one pear is 10,000 won. What kind of damn country is that? This guy adds, that guy adds, and as they keep adding, an apple becomes 8,000, 9,000 won, 10,000 won. When pears were really expensive, they asked 12,000 won for one this size. That's the country being wrong. Then the middle merchants suck it all out, sticking in straws. It's not the farmers who are at fault. They don't get money. Everything gets sucked away in the middle by these guys. That's why it's expensive when you go to the market, right? It's incredibly expensive, because a few people sucked it all up. So politicians should understand that logic and pay attention to those areas. Instead of sitting in a room, go down to the countryside and look at everything like that one by one. Why walk around wearing suits? You can't even pull it off, and you don't look good doing it. Wear work clothes, go down, and walk around in a jacket. You're not even good looking, why wear a suit? Aide, secretary, what do you need aides and secretaries for? They're nobodies. Why even bring up aides? Go down to the countryside and see everything firsthand. You have to pull it out by the roots. What's the point of National Assembly members sitting and saying things like that? They just sit around fighting ruling party versus opposition every day. They should go down there and do it. Throw away the suit first. Wear work clothes, wear a jacket, go down and work the same. Go to where onions are planted and plant onions too, then you'll know how farmers feel, right? Driving a private car, wearing a suit, bam. If you show up with your secretary and aide, what kind of politics is that? You don't even know whether soup is boiling or paste is boiling, right? If I went out and campaigned all over during elections, nobody would vote for me, would they? Not one vote. They won't even go on voting day. What when election time comes? I come in and what? Pick a nice car, go and stand there, and think, shall I campaign once? They won't vote, would they? And the salary, do you know how much salary National Assembly members get? You have to pay 150 million won a year as their annual salary. They take a lot of money, so they already take a lot. But when you see scandals breaking every day about them taking money, they're living off taking money. Do you become a lawmaker to earn money? Isn't that right? So if people are to live honestly and the country is to do well, you have to remove those deep-rooted problems. Nangiup got scolded by me. There are many places just because I'm not talking about them. Many places I smashed them. Those bastards glare. Go again. But those guys have sharp eyes, I'm telling you. When I go, they glare even if I haven't been in a long time. They recognize me, those things. As I've lived, in a day or two it'll be 80 years. There was a restaurant in Anyangmi and a monk. Our meal timing was awkward, so we said let's buy food and go. And we went to eat. We went to the restaurant to buy and eat. They boiled the stew and brought it quickly. It was what you call it Chungukjeon. When I saw it, honestly that's why I say I'm a Buddha. I'm not bragging, but because I have clear knowing, I know exactly what this woman made the food with. Just by looking, she warmed up what someone else ate and left over, and brought it out. Because it tasted bad, someone took a few spoonfuls and left it. She kept it and then reheated it and served it to me. Do you know how badly she got scolded by me? It was probably the first time in her life she'd been scolded like that since she grew hair. And once I went to a porridge shop and ordered plain white porridge, and they scooped a bowl of rice from the rice cooker and mixed it into warm water. That damn porridge, when I looked, they brought rice mixed with water. Ma'am, I asked for white porridge, did I ask you to mix rice in water? That damn woman, I wanted to smash her head in. When I get angry, I immediately call her you bitch. I'm telling you, when I look, people doing theft are everywhere. So I went again the next day. When I went, the woman admitted she was wrong. Then she said, "You came to eat white again today." She did cook white porridge, but it wasn't as good as Bonjik. Still, she put sincerity into it. That's how people are. A human being gives sincerely and then receives return. If you don't give sincerity but try to receive return, isn't that rotten? Maitreya Buddhism is the same. In Maitreya Buddhism too, it's when I pour out everything and give to all sentient beings that the Dharma blooms. Muddling through with strange talk, piling up if you die, you go to a good place. Why sit and listen to that? Long ago, one believer came. It was her first time coming. And when I looked, I could see she had been at a cafe having fun drinking tea with some man and fooling around a lot. Then she came to the temple. When I looked, she was talking like a devout Buddhist who goes to this temple and that temple, going around very diligently. So I said, "Ma'am, you just came from having tea with some man at a cafe a little while ago, didn't you?" She said, "Oh no, I didn't. That man was wearing dark navy clothes, and his hair was messy too." The woman couldn't speak. Then another woman who had been cheating showed up, and when I brought up her man again, she completely freaked out. And then it got found out by that man's wife too. After being caught, she said in one evening she'd get at least 80 phone calls even on the low end. If not that, then 100 to 120 calls. In one evening, the woman, his actual wife, would harass her. So the woman couldn't live, her blood was drying up. Even when her husband was right next to her, the calls were coming in. How could she live? Think about it. So she asked someone, and they told her, "If you go to Yonghwa Maitreya Buddha is there, go there." And that's why she came. She came, and when I looked, looking at her face, she didn't open her eyes straight. She opened her eyes like this, slyly, the way a gizzing opens her eyes. She would glance sideways like that, and with her mouth like that too. She looked like someone who seduces people. Her figure was well shaped too. She was slim, but she'd twist her waist a little. Twisting her waist, she was very pretty. Her body was like a gizzing's, even though she was a middle-aged woman. So if I put in some effort for her once, it'll be fine. So when I said I would put in that effort, she immediately went and brought money. The woman couldn't live as things were, because even though her man was there, the calls kept coming. How could she live? And that wretch was really stingy too. So then what do? You have to save the woman, right? So I performed a prayer blessing. Then I said, "Go home and see whether calls come or not." So she was at home, and she said maybe 3 calls came, maybe 2. A phone that used to ring 80, 100, 120 times a night at minimum, only 2 calls came. And then the next day, the calls completely stopped. How about that? It's unbelievable, but you must not do things like that. I won't do prayer blessings for that. Never. Got it? Is it fun? But since we ran late doing the prayer blessing, I think you might get bored, so I'm going to stop. I'll talk about that next time. Sitting there, you're tired, right? Not tired? Then you'll go to the Yonghwa world. If you go to the Yonghwa world, you need patience. Go and see. Am I lying? The Yonghwa world isn't somewhere separate. This Saha world is the Yonghwa world. Got it? If I receive the precepts and then die, shedding the body and going to the Yonghwa world, you won't have this old body. You'll change completely into youth. And as you move around this Saha world living joyfully, that is what's called the Yonghwa world. Would people who are old like this, limping, go walking around in the Yonghwa world, limping with sore legs? There, none of that exists. Because you shed the body, throw away everything that's become rotten and aged, and go live with a fresh body. If, while living here, you do good deeds and study diligently, then when you go to the Yonghwa world, you won't stay there long. You'll reincarnate into a good place and live there. Even if a husband and wife die together, there's no occasion to meet, and they absolutely do not meet. Understand? So since I am guiding you to such a good and beautiful world, you must study diligently. Got it? You must do it with effort. Don't forget. They said one person was missing. So today this person also isn't very old. When you leave, the Yonghwa calendar is a Yonghwa world calendar. Got it? It's a precious calendar, a precious calendar you can even take with you to the Yonghwa world later, so you must take it when you go. They're all boxed over there. Is there red bean porridge? Do you take it when you take food after eating? Shouldn't you eat 2 bowls of red bean porridge too? I'll eat 1 bowl too. So you spent Dongji well today, right? I smashed the 3 misfortunes to pieces. And earlier the monk prayed blessings for all of you, right? I listened to it all and did the blessing. When the monk reads, I'm listening to everything. Then you do it like this and just sweep it away. It goes like this. Because when the monk reads, I'm listening to it all. Be healthy this year. Always be healthy next year too. And may what you do go well. Earn lots of money. Be healthy. Keep your household at peace. And wherever you go, without accident, spend the year safely and smoothly. Got it? So, thank you. The law of all things in the universe, the Gong Thought. The teachings of Yonghwa Maitreya Buddha, the founder of the Gong Thought. An enlightened Buddha emits light from his body and saves living beings with Buddha's enlightened light. The light of the sun that creates all things is Buddha's enlightened light. And only the Buddha's enlightened light of an enlightened Buddha can make humans reincarnate. The Buddha's enlightened light of the living Buddha. That is precisely the Gong Thought. Receiving Shugi means embracing Buddha's enlightened light, that is, the Gong Thought, within my body. After death, there is no samsara, only everything becomes extinct. If you receive Shugi with the Buddha's enlightened light of an enlightened Buddha, you will have eyes that can see the Yonghwa world even after death. Chendo and Shugi are only possible through the Buddha's enlightened light of an enlightened Buddha. Don't receive Chendo after death. Receive Shugi while you are alive. Believe and follow only what you can see, hear, and confirm. The dead cannot arise interdependently, only the living can arise interdependently. Just as gold cannot be made artificially, a Buddha comes as a Buddha from the beginning. And a living being cannot become a Buddha through prayer or Zen meditation. However, those who have received Shugi can receive Buddha's enlightened light and become living Buddhas. All these Gong Thought were created by Yonghwa Maitreya Buddha. Like the sky and the earth, the sea and the mountains, the source of life and creation, the limitless and eternal truth, the Gong Thought. See, hear, and meet Yonghwa Maitreya Buddha's Gong Thought directly every Sunday at Yonghwa Temple in Surazan Mountain, Anyang.